Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
The reintroduction of the National Water Resources Bill in the National Assembly after it was rejected and jettisoned by the 8th National Assembly has become a source of concern for most Nigerians who describe it as draconian and counterproductive to their quest for even and rapid development of rural communities across the country. In the following commentary, our analyst Frank Tiete takes a look at the implications of the proposed legislation for the development of the Niger Delta region.
Since 1956, when oil was first discovered in Oloibiri, Bayelsa State, and then later the rest of the Niger Delta, the region has been the goose laying the golden egg for Nigeria, as crude oil represents about 90% of the country's foreign exchange earnings. To ensure that the federal government had complete control of this God-given natural resource, the 1969 Petroleum Act was promulgated and till date vests the control of the exploration of petroleum and ownership of all onshore and offshore petroleum resources in the federal government of Nigeria. The sad story of the impact of the 1969 Act is clear for the whole world to see. In the last 50 years, the Niger Delta region had witnessed degradation of its environment by international oil companies in disregard for the well-being of its source, the Niger Delta. Crude oil, like water, is a blessing, but it appears it has become some sort of a curse to Nigeria and the people of the Niger Delta, who watch daily, albeit helplessly, as their environments are being degraded with the exploitation of the crude oil that is naturally deposited in their land of origin. The divide and rule mechanisms fostered on the Niger Delta people by conflict merchants on behalf of vested interests have ensured communities in the region are constantly embroiled in local conflicts in favor of continued oil exploitation of crude oil by the IOCs. This is the sad reality and checkered fate that the federal control and management of the petroleum resources has brought on the people of the Niger Delta that may be replicated by the National Water Resources Bill 2020. Though water may appear cheap and available everywhere, its importance to life cannot be overemphasized. It is more important than crude oil in many ways. While we can survive without crude oil, we cannot do without water. As such, the troubles that will be associated with water conflicts will make those associated with crude oil look like child's play. Section 2 of the National Water Resources Bill vests the use, management and control of all surface water and underground water in the federal government of Nigeria, provided such water affects more than one state as contemplated by Item 64 of the exclusive legislative list in Part 1 of the schedule to the Nigerian Constitution. The rivers and creeks of the Niger Delta region are all connected and would all fall under the control of the federal government by the authority of the pending bill. The implication of this, given the history of the control of crude oil resource by the federal government, are indeed thought-provoking. While the Petroleum Act governing petroleum resources management and control was enacted by the military during the Civil War, making it impossible for Niger Deltans to either reject or accept it, the situation with the Water Resources Bill is different. Nigeria today is in a democracy, which means Niger Deltans, through their political representatives, can either accept or reject the bill. Niger Deltans must study and understand every aspect of the bill and know that this is the time to take action on the proposed law. Now that the calls for restructuring are loudest and the federal government is being told to divest itself of needless control of legislative items to allow Nigeria develop as a true federation, where the peoples of the states can harness their resources for their peculiar development, it is curious that the federal government is aspiring to control local water resources to the extent of having to travel to Abuja, for example, to obtain a license from the federal government just to drill a borehole. The pending National Water Resource Bill 2020 will no doubt deepen the distrust in the country and threaten national unity. The federal government is therefore advised to drop the bill forthwith.
Inside the Niger Delta,